All right,
Okay, you're good.
we're good?
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. I'd like to officially call this meeting of the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to order for Tuesday, May 17th. Would you all please stand and join us for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Zoller will lead us with a brief prayer.
Commissioner Zoller, Commissioner Stacy. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the rain that we have that will help the farmers in our very much agricultural community. Please bless this school and the students that are here, and also to help us as commissioners as we guide through the responsibilities of our job and to the people of Seneca County. In your name, amen.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Commissioner Zoller?
Here.
Commissioner Kirschner?
All right, thank you. Well, good morning. It is certainly an honor for us to hold our regular Board of Commissioners session in the presence of you, the students, the future of Seneca County. I certainly thank Mr. Hartenstein and the others who are making this presentation possible. Our County Administrator, Stacy Wilson, to my right. Our clerk to the board is Nicole Smith, who's down here on the far right. Stacy Wilson has a brief note to read from Commissioner Kirschner, who was unable to be with us because of a commitment on a Bayport he serves on.
He appreciates the opportunity for the commissioners to hold their meeting at Columbian. Thank you to all the students, faculty, and staff at the school. A special thanks to Superintendent Vicki Wheatley for arranging this event. I want to emphasize to the students the importance of staying informed on local, state, and national issues, and please exercise your right to vote. It is one of the many privileges we have as citizens of the United States. I sincerely wish I could be there with you today. Commissioner Stacy and Commissioner Zoller are dedicated public servants, as are all the elected officials and department heads who have taken the time to speak with you today. These fine people are inspiring as it relates to their service to the community. I ask that you listen and learn from their presentations, and I wish you all God's blessing. Commissioner Mike Kirschner.
Thank you. We're going to continue with the rest of our meeting, but just so that you know, the procedures in which we take are always public meetings. And for the form of what you're used to maybe in some of your clubs and organizations you belong to, or you might see the school board if you've been to a school board meeting. How many have ever been to a school board meeting? Okay, a few. That's good. That's good. Yeah, it's a process that maybe actively you don't participate in and so forth. But those of you who raised your hand as a former school board member of a different local school, I can tell you there's far more adults that have never been to a school board meeting than probably the percentage of students in this group that raise their hands. So congratulations to you for making sure you've seen that experience. And again, we appreciate this opportunity today. But we will act on the business that we conduct for the purposes of Seneca County. We do via resolution. And so we'll be proceeding through those when we get into our old and our new business. And that's how we speak, through resolutions and formally document all of these proceedings. And we're using that through a recording system. And we use that DVD as our form of minutes. And those are posted to our website as soon as they are indexed, so that someone can follow an index to advance to the portion of the meeting that they want to look at, review, see again, whatever. So that's how we proceed from there. So we'll have the signing of the journal, and I'll accept a motion to approve our DVD recording of the previous board session of Tuesday, May 10th, and the written index of that meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the index as outlined.
And I will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is approved. Okay. Adjustments to the printed agenda. I've got a couple I'll add. We'll do a brief update on the bond presentation that we traveled to New York to do in the last couple of business days. And we got an update on the proposal on things for the Board of Elections space. So we'll add those both under old business. Anybody else have anything to add?
An update on Wolf Creek.
Yeah, and I'd like to just give an update to the public that we had our meeting last week in Columbus where we hired a lobbyist and kind of just a high level overview of that for the public.
Okay. There's no further additions. We'll begin proceeding with that old business first. On Thursday, there was a group of 6 representing Seneca County that traveled to New York City to do a presentation, our bond presentation with our underwriter and our attorney to Standards & Poor and S&P Global, as their formal new name is. And so it was a great opportunity, and we were honored to be the representatives of Seneca County to go there to talk about the Joint Justice Center. And that's what the bond is for, to seek our financing for the building of the new courthouse in Courthouse Square for Seneca County. So we had the opportunity to go there, explain all the financials, all the background of the project, etc., because we are seeking a sales tax revenue bond for that project. So from here, I don't know if Stacy was able to attend, our county administrator as well. Mike Kirchner was the other commissioner that attended, 2 representatives from the auditor's office, Julie Atkins, our auditor, who you'll be hearing from the other elected officials over here at the conclusion of our meeting. They're going to highlight their responsibilities with the county. We also had David Zach with SIDEC attend with us. And so it was just a great opportunity to, like I said, to hear what their concerns and interests were about our project and the county, and also to highlight why we feel that a sales tax revenue bond is the way to go, explain our finances, and again, just the excitement of we are first in the state of Ohio that in 17 to 18 months we'll have a joint justice center that is a combination of the municipal court, which is under the jurisdiction of the city of Sutphen, and then all of the county courts, which is common pleas and juvenile and probate court. So that new building connected with the existing annex will be our Joint Justice Center area. And again, first in the state of Ohio that is doing that under one complex. So we're quite excited about that. I don't know if you have any questions.
I think it may be interesting just to understand at a very high level what the purpose is we're going to build this Joint Justice Center, and it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $11-12 million. You just don't go out to the banks and start borrowing money. So we have to go to Standard & Poor's where they set a rate. And the rate is established based on the creditworthiness of the county. And once a rate is established, and then we have a bond council that goes out and sells the bonds to individuals, as yourself, as your parents, or whoever that wants to invest in it. But the Standard & Poor's sets the rate based on the credit, again, the credit risk and the credit worthiness. So it's extremely important to go there and have a good meeting to explain to Standard & Poor's the financial condition of the county, so they can establish the rate. Of course, the better the rate that we get, the less cost it's going to be for the taxpayer. So that's really the purpose of the meeting. And then once that's established, and understand the 25th is the date that they said they would come back with that, and then bond council goes out and solicits investors to buy these bonds, which ultimately will give us the funds to be able to build the Justice Center. It's a very simplistic view, but all of you in government and finance, you'll get involved with those things at some day maybe.
All right. On the Board of Elections, the proposal has been received. I got it late Friday. Actually, I was gone. So I got to read it yesterday from Encompass, which are the engineers, architects that are going to look at that space for just describing it or putting it together. So they have presented us with some information so we can begin reviewing that. I've sent this to the prosecutor for review, and they proposed it as doing the programming. Actually, how that space would lay out, what it would look like, developed into office spaces for the Board of Elections. This is in the County Services Building on South Washington Street. It's in the same building the Board of Elections currently reside in. I don't know how many of you might be registered voters, because if you're old enough to be yet, but it's the other side of that is currently occupied by a cart shop that their lease rental agreement is up at the end of the year. And then also going into schematic design and including doing bid specs and all of those things. So we'll be reviewing that and we'll be acting on that in the near future. Like I said, we'll get it reviewed by the prosecutor and make sure we've seen everything. And again, this first opportunity I've had to present it to the board, so we can forward that to
This is just an estimate to them to do the engineering work,
the engineering work and bid specs.
engineering design,
Yep.
in bid spec, okay,
Yes.
well, we can let it out to
Yeah.
contractor A, B, or C.
Correct.
Thank
Correct.
you.
And determining on the estimate, it would determine whether it has to be put out for bid or just a quote system, or which route we go, but we can see how that goes. So that's moving forward, so that's good. Wolf Creek,
Our engineer, Mark Zimmerman, has reviewed the qualifications, which we only received one, and his recommendation is that we begin contract negotiation with Feller, Fitch and Associates. Just got his, we received one.
I don't know, two.
I thought it was two.
Yeah, it was two.
What was the other one?
Yeah, there was two. There was that one, and then one came in right before we opened them.
Oh,
but I
that's
can't
right.
remember their
Yeah,
name.
one come in that day.
Yeah, that's right, it came in
last-
late. Yeah. But he reviewed them, and his recommendation is to start negotiation with Feller, Fitch and Associates.
Now, will Engineer Zimmerman, will he be the one that would be doing the interviewing of them? Or
He
would
will be included in
Okay,
our negotiations with them.
okay, because he's the one that's really understanding what needs to be done.
Right.
And just for information, this is a project that's probably
I was
been
gonna say it.
40 years in the process of Wolf Creek, where there's flooding in some areas of Wolf Creek, and there was a petition that was filed some years ago. What that means, petition is some of the landowners wanted us to clean the creek up. Well, where does it start and where does it finish? So we held numerous hearings, did an evaluation. We determined 2 years ago that the petition was valid, and what that means is they will then now get to the work of assessing the actual cost to each landowner based on where their proximity is to Wolf Creek and how much water they drain into it. It's a long process of 40 years in the process of getting to this point.
Epitome of slow government. The other update on the Batchelder group presentation or visits that they arranged for us in Columbus.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, just briefly, we have went as in partnership with the city of Tiffin. We feel that there is funds available in Columbus to distribute, that is being distributed throughout the state where the legislatures are distributing it. And we don't feel that Seneca County is getting our fair share. So we contracted with an individual called the Batchelder Group that is a lobbyist group, and to pay for this, we did a 12-month trial period, and we are partnering with the city and the state. So our first meeting was last Wednesday down in Columbus, where we would, the Batchelder Group got us into the various, well, not senators, but various people in government so we could state the case of Seneca County, where we are and the cooperation that we've had, and what Governor Kasich is looking for is more collaboration in government services instead of having county, city. How can we work together and have a united service, very similar to what we're doing in the Justice Center? So we wanted to get that message across of unity and so forth, so that this lobbyist group can, as monies become available, they can lobby with the senators and representatives and confer with us, so we can get down there and have our hand out too, is what it amounts to.
It was a good day. It was very interesting to be able to interact with the folks. They lined the meetings up. I don't have the list in front of me to name them all, but one was a representative, and not Representative Reineke, a different representative from to the area, Napoleon area, but yet he sits on the transportation committee, finance committee. So that was key to us because he was asking us about some of the processes they have that you have to go through in order to get your projects, looked at, and if we were going to engage in that, and gave a chance for us to share an update on what we had done with our formation of a transportation improvement district and other things like that. And so, overall, it was a very productive day of good relations and continued discussions. So
We send money down to Columbus through sales tax and through various taxation things, and then they send a percentage of it back to us. We just feel that we should have a little larger percentage of what they're sending back to us.
okay. there any further old business? Okay. We will move on to new business and we'll begin with bill vouchers.
I do have bill vouchers today. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Seneca County Ditch Maintenance Fund, moving $2,000 to the auditor treasurer's fees line. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the EMA fund, putting $8,000 into equipment, $4,000 into contract repairs, for a total of $12,000. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Seneca County Sewer District, putting $275 into their travel line. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Public Assistance Fund, putting $1,500 into other expense. I have a resolution authorizing the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to enter into a contract with Witta Construction for the 2016 Seneca County Chip Seal Program. I have a letter attached from Mark Zimmerman, and he said he's reviewed the contracts and he's chosen the lowest and best bid. Doing some research on the bidders that we received, he has decided that Witta was the best for the project. I have a resolution setting time, date, and place to receive sealed bids for the construction of a storage building, Seneca County Engineers Office. This will be set for June 6th at 10:15 a.m. at the Commissioner's office. And that is, the reason it's a Monday is because that's the Monday we switched board session days, if you notice. Usually our meetings are on Tuesday, but that was the week we switched to a Monday meeting. I have a resolution setting time, date, and place to receive sealed bids for the Fostoria ADA restroom upgrade project, retroactive to May 10th, 2016. This will be set for Tuesday, May 31st at 10:15 a.m. at the Commissioner's office. And I have a resolution approving the architect agreement between the county and Silling Associates in connection with the construction of the new Joint Justice Center. And that's all the resolutions I have.
All right, do I have a motion?
I have a motion, we approve the resolutions as read.
I will second. Any comments, questions, or concerns on any of the resolutions as stated? I'll just make the comment on the last one, the approving of the architect agreement between Silling Associates for the Joint Justice Center. And we are the acting legislative body on behalf of the city and the county based on the cooperative agreement we have with the city of Tiffin to proceed on these types of contracts and to move them forward, because we already had a letter of intent with Silling. We'll do the same with our construction manager at risk so that we can move the project through without it requiring both bodies to meet. There are some actions with the Joint Justice Center that does require both the city of Tiffin in a city council meeting to have action, as well as for the county to have action independently. But these are some of the contract things that we are the signing, by the cooperative agreement, the signing authority on, and so therefore we have to act on it in order to place our signatures on those contracts. No further comments, concerns? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Our resolution's passed. Thank you. Okay. This leads us to an opportunity for citizens' comments. At this time, if there is anyone that would like to make a statement, comment, or have a question, when we do our public comments or citizen comments opportunity, we do require that you state your name and affiliation, and then go ahead and proceed with your comments or question. Does anyone like to say anything else? Okay. Seeing none. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. At this time, what we're going to do is we're going to invite the elected officials that are seated off to my left over here to each come up to the podium or to stand in front of you to share some information about their roles and responsibilities for Seneca County. You've had the chance to see how we act and perform, and this is a normal procedure for us. And again, through this legislative action is how we act on and speak about the things that we're responsible for. One of the single most important things, there's a lot of important topics that all of these folks represent in areas and departments for the county, but is the oversight of the budget process. And that's how we go through the resolution process to put monies in the appropriate lines to approve the budget that we do at the end of the year for the beginning of the next year, and all of those things. And the monies that we have to work with in order to do all of those things is the tax dollars that you, your parents, your families pay. The highest amount of tax dollars we receive to work with, the biggest percentage in our budget, is a sales tax, but also with a property tax, other fees and things that come into play. That's the revenues that we have to work with. And so I'll just put my plug in. The buying local is a significant aspect and makes an impact on the budget that we have to work with and that we divvy out to all the various departments through the general fund for their work. And so with that, we're going to look this direction. I don't know who's going to speak first. I think
Can I
Mr.
make a
Zoller wants to
comment?
add something.
We are different than the federal government. We have to live within our means. With the Budget Commission they set every year of what the revenue will be for the county. We have to balance a budget every year. We cannot have deficit spending. Federal government, a whole different thing. So I just thought interesting to know that.
I don't know, Ken, were you going to go first? Not to put you on the spot, but Ken Majors is our EMS director, and as Ken comes forward, what I would like to do is read a proclamation that we have signed for EMS. This proclamation from the Board of Commissioners, Seneca County, Ohio. Whereas Seneca County EMS volunteers have been the primary emergency medical service providers serving the citizens of Seneca County with safe and efficient pre-hospital care since 1979, and whereas Seneca County Emergency Medical Services have been providing quality and safe advanced pre-hospital medical care for over 35 years. And whereas the delivery of pre-hospital care is a difficult, dangerous, and thankless job requiring many hours of training and continuing education due to the strict licensing criteria set forth by the state of Ohio and the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians. And whereas the emergency medical service personnel are volunteers and receive only minimal compensation for their efforts, and whereas the Seneca County Emergency Medical Service operates effectively and efficiently to provide community-based ambulance service because of the selfless dedication and sacrifice of the volunteer emergency medical personnel and their families. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Board of Commissioners, Seneca County, Ohio, do hereby proclaim May 15th through May 21st, 2016 as National EMS Week. In witness whereof, we, the Board of Seneca County Commissioners, have hereunto set our hands and caused the great seal of the county to be affixed to this proclamation. So, thank you. Forget I'm attached.
And I think it's also interesting to know on December 24th and 25th, December 24th and 25th, he moonlights as another job.
Right. Just a shot at the beard.
I'll let you guys decide what that is.
Just a shot at the beard. Nothing to worry about. Interesting enough, this proclamation, President Obama actually read one very similar just yesterday, Monday, because this week is National EMS Week. EMS providers, emergency medical services, we bring the best care anywhere right to you. And in this county, we do it a little differently, but we do it with everybody's health and welfare in mind. We don't have the huge budgets that some places have, and I know that the commissioner spoke of that a little bit. But what we do is we provide professional EMS service to 10 of 15 townships and 6 of the villages in Seneca County. So really that's a big job, and it's all done through some level or another of volunteerism, meaning that these guys not all of them get paid at all. Some of them get paid a little bit, some of them don't get paid at all, and they do it to serve their community. The only way to make sure that you're safe is to participate in the safety of what you do. So, and that's how we do that. We have about 100 volunteers around the county that really, and like she said, they sacrifice a lot of their time. There's a lot of education that goes into this. state mandated training, nationally mandated training, and standards of care. Meaning that every day, a group of doctors somewhere meets and says, we're going to do it a little bit different today. We have to be able to keep up with that. So just stepping back in time just a little bit, I'm not an elected official, I'm an appointed official, which comically means that whenever these guys get tired of me, they can appoint at the door and I have to leave. So, that's a joke. But my name is Ken Majors. I've been a registered nurse for 20 years and a national registered paramedic for 30. So in 1987, 2 years after I graduated high school, I became a nationally registered paramedic. You have to be 18 years old to do that, and we need more volunteers here every day. So if you're planning on living and growing in this community, and you have any interest at all in providing for your fellow man and yourself, we would be more than happy to train you for free and move you along into the healthcare system where you can do the most good if that's something you'd like to do for your community. We always need more help, and we have people who have started off in our system and have become emergency room physicians, veterinarians, a lot of registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, home health aides, all the way up through, that pretty much covers the gamut of it. So we're a really good place to start and end if you choose to. We've got people that have been volunteers here for as long as we've been in existence, since 1978. And we're not getting any younger, so we can use your help. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Good morning. It's so nice to be here at Columbian High School, so thank you for welcoming us here today. My name is Jean Eckleberry, and I am the Sandusky County Clerk of Court. My official title is the Clerk of the Common Pleas Court. Our office takes in, through our legal department, takes in all of the new cases that come under the jurisdiction of the Common Pleas Court. And in Sandusky County, there are two Common Pleas Court judges. There are Judge Shutt and Judge Kelbley in our court. So we take in all the filings for the cases that come into our court or into our clerk's office. That could be criminal cases. All criminal cases that come down through the Sandusky County Prosecutor's Office are filed in our court. We also take in civil cases. That could be a lawsuit, say for if you're injured in an automobile accident and you're not fairly compensated, you could file a lawsuit and that would be filed in our court. Or it could be a divorce or a dissolution case, and that is also filed in our clerk's office. So the responsibility of the clerk's office is to accurately and properly preserve all records that are filed in our office. We file stamp every document that comes in. It has a date and a time stamp on it. And then those files are all used by the two judges in our court system. So it's very important that we accurately and properly preserve all of those records. The clerk's office also is in charge of jurors. When they come in, we for any trial that is held by the Common Pleas Court, it is our job to check in the jurors. It is also our job to give them an oath of office for them to perform their duties. So any of you that are 18 years of age could be, and are a registered voter, could be put into our jury pool, and we may see you one day and hope that you would feel honored to come in and take care of that service. It is a service that our government requires of us. So that's a very important service. Also, we have, when we have a criminal case, it is the clerk's responsibility to accurately report that criminal case to the BCI&I, which is the Bureau of Criminal Investigation and Identification, the outcome of that criminal case. So if someone was charged with a criminal offense and were found guilty, it is our job to make sure that BCI&I is given that information. Or if they're found innocent or not guilty, they're equally, we would give that information. And those are important because as there are background checks that are done every day for employment, for all kinds of reasons, all of that information is very important so that they have a full picture of anyone's record. The other part of our office is the title office. So we have a separate office where we would give you a title for an automobile. So any of you that have a motor vehicle, either your parents or yourself and your names have been in our office and have received a title. In the clerk's title office, we also put on the title if there is a lien. So if you borrowed money and to purchase that automobile, we would put that lien on your title. So the title would show in your name, but it would show that it's subject to a lien. And of course, we would be responsible for taking the lien off once that lien has been paid off. The titling system that we use when we do motor vehicle titles is a system that is used throughout the whole state of Ohio. So all 88 counties, the clerk's title office would take care of preparing that title. So there's one database that has all of Ohio titles in it. It's called the ATPS, which is the automated title processing system. Last year, the clerk's title office, processed over 18,000 titles. So you can see we've kept pretty busy with that. The clerk's office also processes watercraft renewals. If you have a boat or something on the water, we would do the registration as well as the decals that are necessary for you to have that boat and operate it in Ohio. Last year, we did over 572 boat registrations and 488 decals for the state of Ohio. So you can see we do keep busy with that as well. That's just a short overview of what our office does. Does anybody have any questions? All right. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'm just going to say one thing on a personal note. To all you graduating seniors, congratulations. It's a great time for you right at this moment. I hope you can take a step backward and enjoy what you've accomplished, enjoy the friends that you've accomplished it with, and look forward to your future. Thank you.
Good morning. Can you hear me without this? I'll use my outside voice. You know, you're going to hear from a lot of elected officials here today that have an office that runs from 8:30 to 4:30. Our office is a little different because we never close. And we've been in business since 1824 when the first sheriff was elected in Seneca County. We are currently housed in the 4th sheriff's office that the county has ever seen. Have any of you had a tour of that facility? No. You know, we've grown a lot since I first started over 30 years ago, from employees of about 20 to 25 and a jail population of maybe 30 to employees of 80 currently and a budget of $5.5 million. It's a big difference between when I first started over 30 years ago. Some of the things we do, where, you know, the sheriff is tasked with some responsibilities that are set up in the Ohio Revised Code, and one of those is for preserving the public peace. How many know how big Seneca County is? How many square miles? What? 545 square miles. That's pretty good sized territory. To put it a little better perspective, that's from Fostoria to the other side of Attica, and from Green Springs down to McCutcheon. That's pretty good size. Now we do that with 15 road deputies on the law enforcement side of it. 1 chief deputy, 1 lieutenant, 2 sergeants on the shifts, and then the deputies that filter in the rest. We've got 2 detectives, 1 detective sergeant that works in our office and takes care of complex misdemeanor cases, juvenile cases, and felonies, and a detective that's assigned to the Metros Task Force that takes care of the drug issues in the county. We have 6 dispatchers. They've taken just under 7,000 calls for service last year. We have 2 911 answer points in our office, and they dispatch for the road deputies, 13 county fire departments, 11 county squads, and 6 village police departments. So it's kind of busy for those folks. We're also tasked with court security. If you've been into the annex building uptown, where the 2 common police courts and the clerk's office is, that deputy setting there is with our office, and also juvenile court. I won't ask if anybody's been in there. We also take care of summonses, taking care of serving papers, that's summonses, subpoenas, warrants, protection orders, evictions, and etc. We're also tasked with jail operations. Per capacity is 225, and I think we're a little over 200 this morning. We have 1 lieutenant that's the jail administrator. Jail administrator, one sergeant on each shift, and then 39 corrections officers to fill in all the gaps there. We've been in operation since 1994 at that location. We have a kitchen that takes care of all the meals they prepare depending on the jail count, and also how many would be in the youth center, North Central Ohio Educational Service Center, and also Bridges Community Academy, anywhere from 700 to 800 meals per day. We've been housing immigration detainees since 2001. Federal government takes care of all their expenses for the housing, for any medication, for any doctor's fees, so along with transports, and also if somebody has to go to the hospital, courts, hospital security. But in that time frame, we've generated over $20 million that comes back to the county. Our tax dollars comes back to the county from the federal government, which helps offset our operational costs. We're also takes care of extradition process and transport of inmates. So if somebody is in the process of a criminal trial, maybe they've got out on bond, they decide to leave, if they're located in another state, no matter where in the 48, we will go get them and bring them back, depending on what the violation was that they committed. They have one sergeant and 2 deputies to take care of that. And I'm going to slide off a little bit of what our office does. How many in here are seniors? Graduation's a great time. I've heard the clerk tell you that. You've made it. Walk out the doors with that paper in your hand and enjoy the rest of your life. Along with that comes graduation parties. And I think you folks actually saw a mock crash down on the track a little earlier. You know, that was all staged for you guys to see, but that was real for us in law enforcement, for EMS, for fire. We sometimes see that on a daily basis. Those sights are real. I'll have to tell you that over the 30 years I've been with the office, far too many times I've helped remove a lifeless body or bodies from the tangled up wreckage of what used to be a car and helping fire an EMS. You know, those are visions that you get in your head that you never get rid of. I've had the task of telling a family member that their loved one isn't coming home because of a crash or from some other incident that happened. You know, and when you talk to them, you watch the color drain out of their face as you're telling them what had happened. And it's also a sight that you never can escape. You know, you guys are just getting started in your lives. You've got so many years ahead of you. Graduation parties, we know they're going to happen. If you would do me a favor and make smart decisions, not quick ones. You guys are individuals. You don't have to follow the crowd. You do your parents what you be an individual. Keep me from having to go to a house's graduation season and get a done notification. You guys can help me with that. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dan Stahl. I'm the EMA director for Seneca County. I'm an emergency manager. Commissioner Zoller mentioned federal government. FEMA would be the federal version, FEMA. Ours is a county emergency management agency. And just like the commissioner said, I'm required to keep within my budget too. So unfortunately, I don't have a printing press to make the money. But I've got a lot of different responsibilities that goes with my job. A lot of it is planning, emergency planning for the county and the cities. My job entails all of Seneca County, like the sheriff mentioned, and it is a big county. Preparedness, to have the different preparedness items available for all the responders in Seneca County. My agency supports law enforcement, fire, EMS, and all types of government, school emergency plans. Get involved with Mr. Daniel on your plan for here and all the other schools in the county to do emergency planning for whatever may happen in the schools. And these days, it's changed a lot over the years here, and we're planning for different things that we've never had to plan for before. Communications is a big part of my job, but the day-to-day communications. We oversee all the public safety communications for virtually the county, and it's a huge system. Our system, and this includes everybody that's in the system, is about 1,400 radios. So that's a big job to manage everything to keep going and just make sure that keeps going day to day, all the infrastructure, all that. That includes the schools, the sheriff's office, fire departments, all that stuff. The sheriff mentioned 911. I jokingly say we do everything for 911 except answer the phone. The dispatch centers, there's 3 dispatch centers in the county. There's the sheriff's office, there's Tiffin Police, and there's Fostoria Police. My department takes care of all the infrastructure for the 911 system. We actually take care of a lot of the infrastructure for communications also. Part of what the commissioners passed today, I don't even think the sheriff knows this, is some replacement of some backroom equipment at his office on the communication side. Had some extra money to do some things there and try to keep that stuff all up to date. So that's the kind of stuff we look at. But the 911, that takes a lot of time to do that. It's more than just the telephone. There's a lot happens with every 911 call, and we manage that from the day-to-day standpoint here in the county. Addressing goes hand in hand with that. If you're making a call from your cell phone or from your home, it doesn't matter. We need to know where you are. We've got probably some of the best technology we can have for today on 911. If you're calling from a residence, it's pretty accurate. You know, I'm going to say like 99% accurate. You pick up the phone, you call on your landline. That's going to be a thing of the past here before long. It's pretty accurate. But on the cell phones, you know what? We're trying to hit a moving target. We're doing the best we can, trying to find out where you guys are using the different systems with the 911. So that's stuff that we work on all the day, every day. Addressing, we actually issue the addresses, the physical addresses for the unincorporated areas of the county. That would be everything except the cities and the villages. So that's a big responsibility we have there. Along with the 911, the mapping, we actually, if you place a call, a map pops up to show what your location is once it gets tracked. On cell phone, once it gets tracked. Landline, like I said, it's pretty accurate on that. Something that was a nice article in the paper here recently that I got involved with that you might have seen was the Auto Mutual Aid project that the fire departments are implementing here. The sheriff was involved in that. I was involved with that from an implementation standpoint. So we get some really, really nice projects going in my department. It's a lot of fun. We have an emergency operations center. You may or may not know that. I've had a lot of people tell me that's the best kept secret in the county. Well, that's not by design because I welcome anybody to stop out there. It's actually located at the fairgrounds at the public safety building. Used to be called the civil defense building. That's where the offices are. Ken and I share offices out there. And we got the emergency operations center and do a lot of things there. Also responsible for the emergency operations plan for the county. So we've got an actual design plan that what we do in case of big emergencies. Well, thank you very much for having us here today, and I appreciate a chance to talk to you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Oliver. I'm the Director of Job and Family Services, and these fine folks appoint my position. I'm not an elected person. We administer programs like Medicaid, food assistance, cash. We protect kids and older adults. We enforce and set up child support. But the main thing I'm going to tell you that we do is we help people with jobs and job training. Has anybody ever been on Ohio Means Jobs to look for a job? You can find training information there. What does it take to be an engineer? What does it take to be an electrician? What does it take to be a machinist? And it'll give you information about wages, training. There's scholarship information in there. You can look for a summer job on there. It's a really nice resource, so if you haven't checked that out, I would encourage you to do so. In my role, I work with a lot of these folks in child protection or adult protection. Maybe we need a little help from law enforcement if we're in a difficult situation. We work with the courts on child support, child protection, and we work with the clerk's office for administrative and court orders. We work with the courts, the auditor takes care of our money. So we have a lot of interaction with our fellow county departments, and we're grateful for that. So, anybody have any questions? Thanks.
Can I get all my goodies to bring? So. No, because we want to see your smiling face too. So my name is Beth Deesh, and I am the team leader at the Seneca Conservation District. We work cooperatively in the county with our farms, our homes, and our schools. Cooperatively, we work with them to conserve natural resources. That can be soil, that can be water, that can be air, that can be plants, that can be animals, and that can be humans' interaction with all of those natural resources. We really focus on the farms, the homes, and the schools in the county because that's where most of our resources are consumed and can then be conserved as well. Farms has always been our primary focus because this county has more farms than it has homes and schools. So other counties around us do other kinds of conservation work, but we focus on our farms. 80% of Seneca County is farmland, and that is also a huge economic impact as well as a delicious impact for all of the food that we eat. So we really have been working since 1949 in partnership with the commissioners in a cooperative venture for funding and operations. After the commissioners help us out with our beginning funds, then we work with state funds and then some federal funds and then some grant opportunities and leverage those dollars to come back into Seneca County and help conserve our natural resources. The reason we do that is for our future, because we can't continue to build jobs, build homes, build additional opportunities for anyone in this county if we don't have soil, water, rocks, plants, and animals here for them to enjoy while they're here living. So that's kind of us. We definitely like to be involved and get the next generation engaged, because you guys are the ones we're preparing for. You guys are the ones that we're here hoping will come back and will help us with this venture as well. One of the ways that we encourage cooperation is through inspiration. And we have some farmers that inspire each other in different ways. But one of the ways we've been inspiring young people to get involved is by sharing. And so if you don't mind, I'd like to share our selfie today and inspire you guys to just check us out. Check out some of the things we do for kids and check out some of the programs that might inspire you to get involved for soil and water in the future. You all ready? No sleeping or you'll get in trouble. And you're on record now. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Last but not least.
I have a whole bunch of statistics to share with you, and I think you have, 10 minutes left of this class? So, I don't want to bore you because you've digested a lot. So I'm going to go over some items that I think are very interesting that the auditor's office does. By the way, I'm Julie Adkins. Has anybody seen that name out there, maybe? Are you familiar with what we do? Shout it out. What do we do? What?
I work as an intern at an insurance company, so I see all of your website. That's what I use.
Yep, we have a website that contains all of the values and the property owners in Seneca County. Great resource for when you start looking to buy a home. You can see what value we have on it. You can see what recent sale prices were on the property. What else? Nobody has a dog? Okay, good. We are responsible for issuing dog licenses for every dog in the county. How many dogs are there? Anybody want to guess? Yeah? Well, last year we issued over 10,600 dog tags. So there are a lot of licensed dogs out there, and unfortunately a lot that are not licensed. But we just keep track of the ones where faithful dog owners license the dogs. Guess what the #1 breed is? Good guess. Second?
What would be the second breed? Small dog.
Chihuahua.
Very good. Very good. Chihuahua. Yeah. Third?
Terrier.
Boxer. Another small dog. And also, the Beagle and Shih Tzu run a close fourth. So we have a lot of large dogs in the county, and then it kind of tapers off to smaller dogs. Interesting one. The auditor's office is 3 divisions, basically. We're responsible for helping the commissioners maintain the budget, give them accurate records for reporting. We're the checks and balances for all the departments that bring in revenues for the county, as well as we pay their bills for them too. And also we are the chief assessor for the tax, for the valuation of the properties to establish the tax value and collect the taxes. I'm sorry, the treasurer collects the taxes. We distribute the monies to your schools, to your county, to your townships, to all of the entities that make up the basis of a tax bill. We also are the paymaster for payroll. So we make sure all the employees get paid, as well as make weights and measures. How many people have pumped gas? You'll see that seal on there. You want to make sure that that pump has a seal on it, because that tells you that that pump has been checked for accuracy, that if you're paying for a gallon, you're getting a gallon of gas. We also are, well, I want to bring to your attention credit card scams or skimmers. How many people pay with debit card? Credit card? Okay. You want to be conscious of this. There's a new fraud that's out there, credit card scam. What's happening is thieves are putting devices on credit card readers, and they're stealing your information, and then going and creating or making fraudulent charges back to your card by going to Walmart and then buying gift cards off of your credit card information, or worst case scenario, your debit card information. Once they get access to your debit card, they can drain your account like that. You have no recourse. I know the sheriff is also trying to communicate to people to be conscious of charges, be conscious of where you make charges. Look at the device. See if it looks like it should. Touch it. See if there's any additional features on it that could be an add-on. I mean, people are getting these things from eBay, Amazon, and putting them on these devices to steal your information. So you want to be conscious of that. Check your bank statements to make sure that you are accounting all of the charges made to see if there is fraudulent activity. Unfortunately, it's the crime of the future, and we are starting to see it throughout Ohio. There was a ring in Florida that took, I think, $21 million of people's money through identity theft, through credit card skimmers. So be conscious of that, because you all work hard for your money, so definitely you don't want anything like that to ruin it. So, any questions?
The difference between the debit and the credit card.
Oh, good point. What I understand is if you use your debit card and they skim it or steal that information, they can drain your account completely. If you use a credit card and they skim it or steal that information, you're only responsible for, I think it's either $50 or $70 of whatever fraudulent charges they make. So think about that when you're making purchases, especially in different areas if you're traveling, things like that. So, all right, congratulations. You guys are so close to graduating, and have a great summer.
That's it.
All right.
Johnson, yeah.
That concludes everyone that came along to present to you as well. We once again thank Superintendent Wheatley. We thank Principal Hartenstein and the instructors and others and all of you for coming down for the program to witness our meeting, as well as to hear from the elected and appointed officials. So thank you very much. Good luck to the seniors. Good luck to all of you. Have a great summer. And anybody want to talk to, you can catch us. Thank you.